Okay, I think we'll start now, and I'm going to ask Dr. Conrad Giles, World ORT President, to open this Zoom briefing. And thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you, Toba. I hope I'm heard. I can't see whether I'm on mute or not. I presume I'm not on mute, or you would have told me by now. I must tell you, when I heard about the briefing today, I had certain visions seared into my memory regarding Kfar Silver and our responsibilities. Sometimes when you know as much as I have been privileged to know with respect to Kfar Silver and the youngsters and the staff, the programming, the needs that are being met, it's much more difficult. Had I not had those visions, and having recently been in Kfar Silver with Dan Green, accompanying part of the Cleveland family mission, I perhaps would find this moment a little bit easier. What we have in Kfar Silver is a microcosm of what we in World ORT and we in ORT America will spend a lifetime supporting. I have on my phone the Jerusalem Post, and I receive the red alerts when rockets fall in our wonderful state of Israel. Each time I receive that, I of course shudder a little bit, and I guess I even shudder more when I see that they're going near Ashkelon and Sderot, and recognizing the impact it has on our jewel in Kfar Silver. It is a jewel with many, many facets. The children, the staff, as I said, Amos Gofer, whom we're going to hear from in a few moments. And I can only, and for a moment, sense what must go through the minds of our Jewish brethren in Kfar Silver. I also look with pride when I was there, with the shelters we have provided, with the safe houses that we're going to be continuing to provide in order to provide for our staff's ability to remain on site during these horrendous times. I wish I were optimistic that they weren't going to be required. Clearly, they're going to be required. And clearly, it is our responsibility as the largest funding organization in all this constellation of funding organizations of World ORT to meet our responsibilities. So I thank each of you for being here this afternoon. And I thank all of you for your support in advance of what I'm sure is your continuing support in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Connie. This is Dan Green. I just want to echo some of Connie's words. As Connie mentioned, we were together in Kfar Silver a couple of weeks ago, and it's nearly inconceivable thinking today back to when we were there walking around without a cloud in the sky, let alone a rocket in the sky. This beautiful oasis in Israel, our home, World ORT's home in Israel, a place of happiness for our students to learn, to live and build relationships, that it's also a place that is so endangered by what is going on today. As Connie said, when Amos took us around and showed us the shelters and safe rooms that are in place for our staff and our students who live there, it was almost unbelievable to think that they would ever even be needed, given the peace that we saw on that day. But we know how fragile, unfortunately, that peace is, and we learn with great sadness that an Israeli in Rehovot was killed just a short while ago in a recent rocket attack, and a number of individuals have been seriously injured as well there. You know, we know how precarious and fragile that piece is. So I can only really pay tribute firstly to Amos and his dedicated and devoted team and staff at Kfar Silver for the love and the care that they show to all of their colleagues, staff and students in Kfar Silver, whether they live there or whether they day students there. And his resolve and all of our resolve as supporters of World ORT and supporters of Kfar Silver to ensure that the youth village is in the best possible place it can be in terms of safety and security, because ultimately that's what we care about, the safety and security of all of our beneficiaries, our friends, our loved ones at Kfar Silver. So I thank also everyone for joining this call, and for those who watch it later recorded, that you care as much as we all do about the safety and future of everyone at Kfar Silver, and you want to do everything you can to ensure that that safety is kept strong and safeguarded for as long as possible. Thank you, Tova.
Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Connie and Dan, for your words and speaking about being in the village. I know many people on this call have had an opportunity to be at Kfar Silver and see the village, or have seen videos, or have met Amos, and many of you are aware and have spent time with Amos here in the United States these past few weeks. And in fact, he is still here, and just added to the anxiety and worry of taking care of everyone at the village during a time like this. He's doing it from thousands of miles away. He has to be in touch with his team, be aware of what's happening there, and he is here with us in the United States while his family is back at the youth village. So I know we all feel very connected to the village, to the staff and students there. And we really appreciate everyone's outreach to us. During times like this, we hear from so many of you asking, how is Kfar Silver? How are the students? How's everyone doing? And so we are grateful to be able to, we're sorry that this is happening, that we have to do this at all, but we are also grateful for the time everyone's going to take to let us see how it is for everyone at the village, for us to hear directly from Amos and from those who are there on site, so that we can see not just how they're doing, but how we've impacted their experience and hopefully made it a little more tenable, and also what their ongoing needs are and how we can continue to help and support them at this time and for future. Because unfortunately, as we've heard and we know, this is not going away. It happens periodically at the youth village, and we want them to be as secure and safe and prepared as possible. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amos to give some little introductory words before we welcome the rest of the panel and the group.
Good afternoon, good evening. Connie, thank you, Dan, Barbara, and thanks to everyone that is participating in this Zoom meeting, and for everyone that is helping Kfar Silver all the years, and especially in this time. I'll have to share that for me to be here in time to see everything from a distance, it's in many cases even more scary than to be on the ground. When you are in the youth village, you feel that you control the situation, and you see where the boarding school student sleeps, and you see where your own family sleeps, and you know that you can attend for everything. I would like to get you all acquainted with 3 people, very important people from the youth village. Mr. Adi Dori is the manager of the boarding school. He's our boots on the ground. He takes care of the students all year long for the last 6.5 years, and he's with them also in difficult times. Dori will speak later on. We have Mo, which is one of our social workers, very devoted social worker in the youth village. The manager of the social workers couldn't come. A few hours ago, shreds of a rocket fell about 100 feet from her own house. She lives in a village about 5 kilometers from Kfar Silver. Because of the fact that she and her husband and 3 children and also her parents were in a safe room, nothing happened. But things like that can end in a very bad way, as we see in other places. And of course, my dear wife, Rock of Gibraltar, that is in the youth village with our two daughters, with our 3 children, 2 daughters and 1 boy. This is the picture of what happened. These are things that are falling from the sky on residents in Israel. I would like to move the Zoom to Tova, which is the Chief Marketing Officer in New York, and she will ask the questions.
Thank you, Amos, very much. I know this is a difficult time for everybody, and we appreciate everyone who was able to join us today. There will be a recording following. If you know anybody who wanted to join and couldn't, we'll share that this afternoon. So today we're going to hear, as Amos had mentioned, from the staff, managers, and those who live at the village at Kfar Silver, and their firsthand accounts of the situation will provide us with a full picture of what's going on, what measures have been taken, and what is needed to help our students cope with the trauma of the conflict, and how we can ensure enhanced security and safety measures for all of them. We will have time, we hope, at the end for Q&A, and we have the chat on the bottom. I think everybody's probably very familiar with Zoom in these days, and if you have questions, to just put them in the chat and we will address them at the end of the meeting. I'd like to ask Adi Dori now. I think we can highlight him to be on the screen with me, and we will have this. Hi, Adi. And I believe somebody will be translating from Hebrew, correct?
Yes, my wife Karen will translate.
Okay, maybe can we put Karen on the screen as well? And that way it might be easier for people to understand what's going on.
Okay.
So Adi, can you tell us about the boarding school students? You manage the boarding school, correct?
כן, טוב, קודם כל שלום. יש לנו בעצם שלשום, ככה בשעה 3:30 לפנות בוקר, איש הביטחון של הכפר אבי בעצם הודיע לי שהולכת להיות הסלמה, הוא התקשר אליי.
About 3 days ago, we received a notice from our chief security in the Kfar, Avi, that we have to start getting prepared because there are
הודיע לי, אני בעצם כבר באותה שעה, ממש לפנות בוקר, התקשרתי לרוב המדריכים של נעלה שהם דוברי רוסית, וככה אימתתי איתם את הדוח נוכחות, ולדעת באמת שכל ילד, אני יודע איפה הוא נמצא. היו לנו 104 חניכים.
We have approximately 104 students from the Nale project in the Kfar, and Adi started to get in touch and to see exactly who is here and get them accommodated.
בשעה 8 הבוקר, כבר ככה בתחילת הבוקר, כבר כינסתי חלק מהצוות, גם עם הממלא מקום של עמוס, גוסטבו, וגם עם הצוות הטיפולי, ואחר כך גם עם כל הצוות הישיר שלי, ובעצם חילקנו את העבודה להמשך היום, וקיבלנו החלטה לאור המצב שכבר ישר אחרי ארוחת צהריים, כולם כבר הולכים למקלטים כדי להיערך ללינה שם.
Karen, Karen, you're on mute. Can you unmute your microphone so you can?
Yes, I'm sorry. Around 8 o'clock in the evening, we had to start getting the shelter ready and get the Naale students into the shelters so they can have a safe place to stay.
The Naale students are mainly from the former Soviet Union, and you were saying before, Adi, that you have counselors who can speak to them in Russian, correct?
קרן, תוכל
Yes.
לתרגם?
Yes, יש לנו רוב המדריכים הם בעצם דוברי רוסית, ויש מי שיתרגם את הכל ובעצם יתווך להם את הדבר הזה.
מתוך 15 מדריכים שנוכחים, יש לנו 10 מדריכים דוברי רוסית, וגם אם הבית שהיא חלק מהנהלת הכפר וגם הרכזת, היא דוברת רוסית, כך שבחלק הזה אנחנו מאוד עטופים.
Yes, most of the instructors and also the head coordinator are fluent in Russian, so they could explain and to give exactly the information and to calm the kids down during this difficult time. So in that part we're covered.
ובעצם, סליחה?
No, I want to ask if the students who are stayed in the village, are they still studying? Are there any classes going on in the village right now?
אז אני אגיד ככה, בעצם חילקנו את הפעילות, אני אתייחס גם לחלק הלימודי ששאלת, אבל בעצם חילקנו ל4 פעולות עיקריות. קודם כל, מה שעשיתי זה לייצר סידור עבודה של 6 מדריכים לאורך כל ה-24 שעות, שלכל מדריך גם יש גיבוי, וגם יש איש קשר במידה והוא לא דובר רוסית, שהוא יכול להתקשר אליו והוא זמין אליו. זו הייתה הפעולה הראשונה. הפעולה השנייה זה באמת לייצר תוכנית, גם חברתית וגם לימודית. המקלטים שלנו נמצאים בבית הספר, וממש כמה מטרים מאיתנו יש מעבדת מחשבים, ככה שאם יש תלמידים שרוצים, מקבלים בעצם משימות לימודיות, אנחנו יודעים לייצר את זה בקבוצות קטנות, או דרך הלפטופים שלהם, ויש שם קליטה. והפעולה השלישית, ועוד פעולה אחת שעשינו, זה גם לייצר צוות, במידה ויפנו אותנו, יש 4 מדריכים דוברי רוסית, שהם יודעים שהם נערכים ל-48 שעות, שהם מיד, מה שנקרא, יוצאים החניכים במידה ויפנו אותנו.
Tova, I will translate very quickly because this Dori speaks about procedures that we have because unfortunately we became experts in these situations. So there is a protocol, what you do. The first thing, you have to count all the students that we have to know exactly who is where. Then we are trying to send as many students as possible to their houses, those who have families that have safe room. And then we know how many students stays. Then Dori decides who is the staff that is going to work with the students. And we are preparing staff as big as possible for a long duration of time. If the crisis is very big, we will have to be evacuated to the north under the regulations of the Ministry of Education. The first thing that Dori made sure that all the students and also the staff members have a safe place to sleep. We have great safe rooms that we prepared in a huge funds that we did 2 years ago under the leadership of Conrad and Dan and Barbara. And so we are very lucky with the students. It's next to the computer labs. So we are providing them with all the academic needs that they need. Also, we also started building for them like an educational program and a therapeutic program. And so far, so good. I feel that Dori and also the head of security in the youth village and the instructors and the teachers and the social workers are doing a great job. I would like, Tova, for you to ask more the social worker some questions about the situation.
Yes, we were going to get to her next. I know that Amos, you had wanted to touch on the instructors who live at the village and have children there, and how are they able to do both roles of being counselors, instructors, and also caring for their own families?
This is one of the toughest situations because if you are in a situation that you have to be an instructor, but your own family are not safe, it makes it almost impossible because a parent always will take care of his children and he cannot be focused in work if he knows that his children don't have a safe room. Fortunately, now we have 10 safe rooms already that are prepared. So we have staff that are that have the facility that can work in a free mind. But we still don't have the rest of it, as I said before. So though we have to juggle and to see that he's working only with a part of the team, this is a very complicated situation.
Okay, thank you very much, Adi. I appreciate it. And Karen, we're going to get back to you in a moment, but now Mor Bitan, who is a social worker. She works with the students and we're going to ask her about how she is dealing with the current situation. And I'd like to ask you, how is your ongoing work that you've already invested in the students helping them today? Is that something that prepared them in terms of their well-being in this very difficult situation?
קרן, תוכלי לעזור לתרגם, בבקשה?
כן, אני אתרגם.
תודה. בגלל האזור שאנחנו חיים בו ובגלל המציאות החיים שלנו, אנחנו חלק מהעבודה השוטפת דרך קבוצות טיפוליות ודרך טיפולים פרטניים, אנחנו מזהים תגובות וחרדות אצל הילדים סביב הנושא. אנחנו רואים מי הילדים שיותר זקוקים לעזרה ולתמיכה, ואנחנו משקיעים בהם את הנושא של החוסן. במקביל, אנחנו תמיד נמצאים בהכנה, אם זה בחוסן כללי, ואם זה בזיהוי חרדה, אם זה איך אני מטפל בחרדה של עצמי, איך אני מגיב לסביבה, איפה אני מוצא את המרחב המוגן.
שנייה, צריך לתרגם את זה.
Okay.
One second, please, Mo, I have to translate it. Mo and the social worker staff and also the consultant in school, because we live in that area, we know we have to address it all year long. So they have group therapies and they find who are the students that have fears and have traumas from this situation, because every child and also every adult react to the situation differently. So the children that they know that have issues regarding situations like this, they are taking care of them and they are treating them in different therapeutic ways all year long. But especially in a time like this, they give them support to all the boarding school students, those that are in the village and also those that goes to their parents or family houses. Some of the job is done with animals, some of the job is done with social workers, with music, art, sport. This is a huge issue that influences all our students always.
I would like to just interject and ask that there are students there from the Ukraine who came from as refugees from the war recently, just within the past year. And they escaped one place with bombing and a lot of threats, and now they're moved to Israel and they were feeling very much at home and acclimating. How has it affected the Ukrainian students? I think that might be interesting to hear.
זה באמת מצב מאוד מורכב, כי הם ברחו ממצב של מלחמה, שהם השאירו שם את ההורים שלהם ואת המשפחה שלהם, ופה הם הגיעו למצב שהבטיחו להם איזשהו ביטחון מסוים, והם באמת בנו את החיים שלהם בכפר, הם בנו איזשהו ביטחון, במיוחד כשמעניקים להם גם תמיכה טיפולית לאורך השנה, גם דרך קבוצות ופסיכולוג שהם מקבלים בעקבות המצב שהם הגיעו ממנו. המצב הזה מעורר...
Let's let Amos translate.
The thing that Mo is saying now, it makes me almost cry as a CEO of a place like this. She said that we had a lot of children coming from bombed areas, refugees. They lost their houses. They are traumatized already. They came to Israel with a promise for something very safe. They made Kfar Silver their home. They feel very happy in the village. They love the village. The village is done. Green said in the beginning, it's a place of serenity. It was chosen to be the most beautiful youth village in Israel for the last 2 years. And now all of a sudden, they are back into the trauma. And they hear bombs and they are afraid and they cannot roam around. And also the parents are under a lot of stress and they are inflicting this stress towards the social workers and towards the instructors because they are shouting. They said, we are refugees of war from Ukraine. Now we came to Israel and again, our children are under attack. This is a very, to work with the Ukrainian children, it's very, very delicate. It's a lot of work, and every time we have a session like this, it brings back the trauma, it brings back the anxieties. תמשיך לימור.
ממש עכשיו, גם בשעה האחרונה, אנחנו קיבלנו איזשהו עדכון על ילדים שנורא קשה להם, שהם הרמות חרדה שלהם עלו, ואנחנו באמת, ועשינו איזושהי התייעצות, איך אנחנו יכולים רגע לעזור להם בתוך המצב הזה, עם ההתמודדות, איזה התמודדות הם צריכים. אחד הדברים שהכי עוזרים להם זה באמת המרחבים המוגנים, לדעת שהם מוגנים.
Mo says that, I don't know if you know, the last 2 hours were very hard in Israel, a lot of bombs, a lot of sirens, a lot of rockets, especially in Kfar Silver area. A lot of children that stayed in the youth village are really in a stressful situation. So now the social workers are talking with them as we speak on the phone, helping them to balance their state of mind, helping them find strength within them. And Mo says that one of the best things that happened is that we have huge and very comfortable safe rooms for the boarding school students. So it gives them confidence that they are safe and nothing can happen to them. That it's a lot of noise, it's not comfortable, but it's not like Ukraine. Here they are safe. They have a big staff that treats them.
Okay, Maura, do you have anything else to add? I'm wondering about the students who come from their homes are closer to the Gaza border. We know that Kfar Silver is only 8 miles away from Gaza. And I'm just wondering if the students who live closer than that, if they're worried about their families or how are they coping?
ברגע שיש מצב ביטחוני כזה, רובם יוצאים לבית, אם לא כולם, כולם יצאו לבית, והמצב הוא לא טוב. יש להם הרבה תגובות של חרדה, הרבה מהם באים מבתים שגם מאוד קשה להם להיות בבית, אז ביחד עם המצב הביטחוני והחרדה הביטחונית, זה יוצר איזשהו מצב מאוד מורכב, ומעורר אצלם גם הרבה חרדות, שאחר כך אנחנו, ברגע שהמצב הביטחוני נרגע, אנחנו מתחילים בתהליך טיפולי שהוא בעצם לאסוף את השברים ולבנות אותם מחדש.
Amos, can you translate? And I think after that, we'll move on to Karen.
Mo, first of all, I would like to thank you and all the social workers from here for the nights that you spend with the students, talking to them and all through the days. Mo says that we have a lot of students, day students also, and a lot of boarding school students that comes from places that are much closer to Gaza than Kfar Silver. I'm talking places that are 1-2 miles from Kfar Silver. Over there, you are really in a feeling that you are in a war. Some of them, they flee that area to the north of Israel, although they have safe rooms there. And there is a lot of therapeutic treatments that needs to be involved here. So thanks a lot again, Mo. Maybe we will go and speak with my wife and daughters.
Thank you, Maura. Karen, we'd like to hear from you in more detail about how your life has changed thanks to having a safe room that is now essentially part of your home that you can go to during these difficult times.
Of course, I will, first of all, hi Amos.
Hi Dad.
We miss you very much. And look, we moved here to Kfar Silver about 3.5 years ago. And the first thing that I noticed that none of the houses had safe rooms. And I knew that we are in the range of a rocket missile. But I said, okay, it will be okay. We have some safe rooms around us. And I didn't really give enough thought into it because we actually never lived in the South. And we have a home up north. So my children never experienced really these attacks before. And now I'm going to take you a bit around, if it's okay. Just a minute. Oh. Yeah. So when we had the first rocket attack that we had to encounter, we had to come to this area, which is considered the safe room, but not really safe room. It's a kind of a hall. And what is special about it that there is a concrete ceiling here. So that was actually the place. So whenever we had an alarm going off, we had to just come here, sit here, and pray that everything will go well. And I can tell you for sure that after one round, I didn't stay. I just packed everything and we went up north to stay with some friends and family. And this was going on and went on for the past 2 years. This is the first time. This is actually the first time that I didn't have to move my kids and I could really feel safe in my own house. And what we do right now, this is part of the room. We come from here, we walk into my son's room, and the safe room is actually attached to my son's room. So this is the safety door. We just open it and enter. And this is a proper safe room, and I can feel safe. This is where we're going to spend the night and where we spent the night yesterday. And we have some games going on here. And
I see you have air conditioning too, which is important.
Yes, it comes with an air condition, and this is a proper safe room, and it's being well used. And I'm very grateful for it because my kids sleep safely at night. And I know that when Amos has to take care of all the people in the village and the kids, of course, he doesn't have to think, okay, what's going on with us? Because we always had to go and move up north. And so the stress and the disruption of the family, and we cannot be together, that's a huge relief for us right now.
How do the children acclimate to being in such a confined environment, sometimes for a longer period?
Well, that's challenging. That's challenging. I try to give them as much space and freedom to go play outside in the garden. We have, thank God, we have a beautiful Kfar Silva. If you ever been, you know, it has a beautiful garden, so they can play a bit outside, but we're mostly really staying close to home, and we have 30 seconds. So the minute we hear the siren going off, we just come in here and we relax because they know they can feel safe. They were really experiencing a bit of anxiety when before we had the safe room, because you never know. It's like, okay, we're going to sit in the hallway, which I showed you before, but it's just not enough. That's not a safe feeling. So of course they're stressed, because of course they're a bit nervous, more nervous than before because of the noises around us. On the strikes of the IDF can really be heard from here. And we can hear the Iron Dome going off. But when we sit together, there is something very comforting by sitting together here. And stress level goes down.
Well, thank you, Karen, for you and your family and your girls for sharing your personal story. It's very, very good to hear that having the safe room gives you that peace of mind to be able to continue your life. And hopefully all the sounds and noises that are currently in the air will calm down soon.
Yes.
We're going to now move over to Amos. Have a few more questions because we didn't get to hear from him now, except for the translations. And I know, Amos, you wanted to give us a little more detail about this, how many staff residences there are and how many people live there, a little bit more detail about what that part of the village entails.
Kfar Silva, as I guess most of you know, have at the moment 1,050 students, 250 of them are boarding school students. About 60 to 70 students have to stay in the youth village even in time of crisis. because they have no place to go. Most of them comes from Ukraine and Russia. Some of them are refugees of war, which makes the situation harder. We have volunteers that always stay in the youth village to help us to attend to the students. They already have a safe room, which we done. And we have, of course, all the staff members, the instructors of the boarding school, and the workers of with the animal farm that they have to live in the youth village. We have about 30 workers that have to live in Kfar Silver by law, because a boarding school is a 24/7 affair. It's not something that you can go away. You have a lot of responsibility for your family. A year ago, after we finished attending to the greater need of huge safe rooms for the boarding school students, I understood what a big problem I have with my workers. They didn't want to live in the village. They felt afraid in their own houses. They didn't feel safe. So we launched a campaign of 20 urgent safe rooms. We need 30 safe rooms, but we launched a campaign of 20 urgent safe rooms, so at least families with little children have a place to escape to in times of need. The corridor that my wife showed before, this is not a solution because it doesn't protect anything. It gives maybe a good feeling, but it cannot prevent anything. And the situation now in Kfar Silver is very stressful.
And just to add, it's not really a room, and it doesn't really qualify as a safe room.
So we are now in an urgent need for an additional 7 safe rooms for families, and along the way, altogether 17. So everyone that lives in the youth village, it doesn't matter if he's young, old, everyone, even if he's single, he have a place that he feels home, and that his mind and feelings are free to give 100% attention to the boarding school students.
How long does it take, Amos, how long does it take to build a safe room?
A safe room in times of peace takes about 2.5 to 3 months to complete it completely, because they have to manufacture the structure, then they put it on foundations, they have to attach it to do the flooring, the electricity, air condition, painting. So it's actually becoming a room, a part of the house. But in a time like this, it can take a little longer, because every time when we have a session, everyone are starting to deal with it, and there is more pressure on the contractors. But this is a long time affair. I am now approaching everyone here, not to help with this session, but to help with the sessions that we will have definitely for the next 10 or 20 years. This war, the situation with Hamas is not going anywhere. Why? Once in a while, we have something big, like we had 2 years ago, and something big like what's happening now, but we have it all the time. We have it every month, every 2 months, we have a reminder of a siren. Every time there is a motorcycle going on the highway, people without a safe room gets anxieties. They feel afraid because they know they are not safe in their own house.
Are the safe rooms built with special materials to make them so that anything that arrives doesn't penetrate into the house?
Of course, it's done by professionals, by special companies. They have to get approval from the IDF, so it's safe. Everyone have to understand the safe room does not protect a direct hit of a missile. A safe room protects from shreds of metals that are falling from the sky. Shreds, a small piece of metal that falls in a speed of 150 miles that is boiling hot. If it touches a human being, it will definitely kill him. The safe rooms are to protect the residents of the youth village against the shreds. And you have to understand that we had, in May 2021, we found hundreds of pieces of metal all around the youth village, including one very big one on top of my office, on the top of the school. This is why they closed all the schools in that area. Nobody wants to be responsible. And we still need to be responsible for the families in Kfar Silver, and especially for the boarding school. This is why the boarding school students that stays in the village are sleeping all night long in a safe room. They are not allowed to go out. We have instructors there that are making sure that they are there. We have a guard that is there to protect them, that they feel safe, they have food, water, everything there.
Amos, what message would you like to share with the many people on this call and to leave them with?
I like to, first of all, to thank everyone and tell them that for me to live in Israel and to know that we have hundreds, maybe thousands, I think thousands and thousands of friends, thousands of miles away from home, this really warms my heart. As someone that for 25 years served the IDF, and now for the last almost 4 years serving my country in the educational system, to feel a part of the World ORT family is something very important for me. I would like everyone that looks now, that is participating in the Zoom conversation, or that will see the video later, to reach out and to help us to donate funds for us to be able to build more safe rooms, to reach for friends that he has, for people that he knows, to share with them what is going on in Kfar Silver. I'm willing to work 24 hours to talk with people everywhere, to explain to them the situation and to reach for help. I would like in the end of 2023 to know that at least the families with children have a safe room. I would like in the end of 2024 to know that this thing is off the table, that all the people that lives in Kfar Silver are safe, like all the people that lives in all the villages around us. Today, you cannot have a house in a village that is 2 kilometers from Kfar Silver or in the surroundings of Gaza without a safe room. The fact that the Ministry of Education, that the government in Israel doesn't take care of it, it's a big problem. It's a big problem, it's an issue. But the blanket is short. They are trying to take care of those that are in the 7 seconds. So I understand also the problems. You cannot protect everyone. You are trying to do your best. This is a good opportunity also to thank the Department of Safety in the Ministry of Education that helped us with this project also the last year. But we need your help. I'm reaching out for your help.
Amos, how much does it cost?
One safe room costs $40,000. So it means to finish the urgent need, we have to allocate $280,000.
Okay,
Sorry, Tova.
Sorry, you
it's
have a question.
Barbara.
Go.
Yeah, no, I'm glad Baba stepped in with the question. It's in the chat, which I did answer in the chat, and who's going to make sure we said for everyone who's listening and for everyone on the recording that it's just as Amos said, $40,000 per safe room. And as he just shared with us, the most immediate need is 7 additional safe rooms attached to staff housing for families that live on campus at the village and have small children, so they can have the same experience that Karen explained to us, that they can stay overnight safely and be able to take care of all those students and animals who must remain at the village even during these really difficult periods of violence and unrest.
Baba,
Yeah.
I just received a WhatsApp from a very special lady that helped the village, Miss Margaret. I would like to thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. Toda raba.
You're welcome.
That sounds like
think,
good news. I just wanted to add one more thing. I want just to emphasize, and then if other people have questions, please add them to the chat. But I just wanted to emphasize once more the conversation with Moore, who is a social worker at the village and is responding to the mental health of our students, and maybe also our staff, not just during this time, but all year long. One of the things that we support throughout the year, every year at Kfar Silver, is the therapy, social workers, support that our students need. They come from many different backgrounds, as we know. Some are there without their families. Some came from war-torn places even before they came to Israel. And that's a huge, huge piece of the support and work that we do at the Village. And all of your contributions help us do that all the time. So if you can help with the safe room, that's amazing and really needed. And if you can give other funds to just keep providing the support we need in order to respond to our students all the time, and especially now, that is also very much appreciated and goes to excellent use.
Okay, I was going to hand it over to you, Barbara, but I think you said it all. And I don't see additional questions in the chat. If anybody would like to take this next few moments, if they have any other questions, even if you want to speak out, we'll be happy to take them. We have a few more minutes left. Okay.
I'm also going to put in the chat just the link to make a contribution to specifically to Israel at this time. Like I said, all contributions are most welcome. Oh, wow, that's quite a link, but it should take you to the right place. We're in the middle. At this time, it's Israel's 75th year of being a state. We are doing all we can to raise additional funds to support our programs that support students throughout Israel's periphery. And that includes, of course, Kfar Silver Youth Village. We hope you'll be as generous as you can and support our students and our teachers and staff and the families that need it. So thank you so very much.
And I just want to acknowledge that it looks like Michael Perlmutter. Thank you for your encouragement for everyone. If you can look at that.
Tova, I would like
Yes.
to also mention now another big Toda for someone in Florida. I just said that he's giving one safe room to the youth village. So Robin from Florida, thanks a lot. And I would like you to thank that particular donor, and I would like to appreciate my appreciation by myself, if it's possible, if you can arrange it. Toda rabba.
We'll set it up. We'll figure it out. We'll talk.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. We're going to send a follow-up to this call with the recording once it's finished and ready to go. And we, again, thank you all for joining. I know on short notice in the middle of the day or in the evening in the UK where it might have been difficult, but we're glad that we had so many join us and spread the word. Let's let other people know in our network that there's something they can do, besides complaining about the situation, we can do something. And we appreciate everyone's help. So thank you all and have a great rest of the day or evening.
Toda rabba.
Thank you.
Take care. Toda. Toda.
Thank you.